Welcome to Jerk and Jollof with the Joofs. I want to thank our sponsors, Jerk and Jollof Restaurant, 37 Manor Road, Wallington. Go there, hit them up for your Jerk and Jollof. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, guys, hi. We are back with part 2 of mental health with Jerk and Jollof with the Joofs. So, we're going to continue on from the last episode, obviously, and I'm going to share a little bit. This is about my sister. It is quite, when you think about it, it can be quite emotional, but it's something obviously that I've lived with for a long time. So, I've kind of like got used to, the whole situation now. But one of my sisters, my second oldest sister, I remember one time, I think at the time I must have been probably about 9 or 10, something like that, because I remember I was in primary school at the time. And I came home, no, I'm lying. My sister went out, and I don't think she was actually living at home at the time. I think she just recently moved out, and I think she was living with one of her friends. And I think she went out, I'm not even sure if she went out with my other sister, but she went out with her friends. Can't remember if my other sister was there. And they brought her home one night. Pretty sure it was on a weekend, maybe a Friday night or a Saturday night. She came home one day and she was just, as I put it, she was just missing. She was just gone. She was not the same person anymore. She was hysterical. She was screaming. She was just not vacant, but she was just really emotional. She wasn't making any sense at all. And it was obviously, quite traumatic because it went on for a long time. I had to look after her basically because my mum was at work, was working, and my mum didn't know what to do because obviously she had no experience with anything like this. And my mum thought, wow, well, I don't know what to do. All we can do is just keep her in the house. So I was literally off school at home with my sister who had a major breakdown, and I was having to look after her for, like, it seemed, I can't be 100% sure of the time, but it felt like forever. But I think it was probably like about at least 3 weeks, minimum 3 weeks, but could even be 4. So there's me, like, of a day, every day, looking after my sister at home with her. And she was like, at times she was actually violent. So I remember one time she tried to attack me, like with one. You remember those Onyx sort of like ashtrays and stuff? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she tried to attack me with one of those, and she like to lock myself in the bathroom. She was banging down the door, and my sister was strong. Like if anybody sort of like knows her, she was really strong. She was like, my bigger sisters were my protector. I didn't have any big brothers in the country, so my big sisters were my protectors. And like that one in particular, Edna. Like people didn't used to mess with her at school because if you mess with her and she put a beating on you, you were done. That was like, that was like, that was for young men or young women. So
sounds like a bit like that.
Yeah. So and there were so many different things that happened during that time. Like in particular, when I was at home with her, I remember on one occasion we lived on the second floor of a building in Brixton, and I remember one day she was actually sitting on the balcony edge. So on the second floor up, she's sitting on the balcony edge. I'm trying to tell her to come off of the balcony edge, of the ledge, and she's like not really listening. She's cool. She's just there, legs dangling over the side and all the rest. And I'm thinking, oh shit, what's gonna happen if she drops off or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I think eventually she came down. And whatever transpired from there, I can't quite remember. But I think what happened as well is eventually I think she was sectioned. I can't really remember the full ins and outs of it because it was such a long time ago. But she was sectioned, so she was in an institution for a while. And then after that, she was just like, I'm not quite sure exactly what her circumstances are now. The last time I saw her was probably a couple of years ago, and I remember she was walking not too far away from where my mum lives now. She was just walking down the road, and I pulled up, on her because I saw her. And I thought, wait a minute. So I pulled up on her, and she was just completely ignored me. And I was calling her. She literally completely ignored me, like for about
3 or 4 minutes, and I just drove off.
And she saw you. And
She must have known it.
She gave you eye contact, like
Do you know? She didn't even give me eye contact, but she knows my voice.
Yeah.
She knows.
She medicated though.
No clue.
How would you know? And that could have an effect though. Yeah, exactly.
No clue. And I think from that it's had so many different I don't know what you call it, spin-off or whatever from that, because like my mother, like, you know, as a, you know, a typical African woman, she would get embarrassed about stuff like that.
It's a domino effect.
You know, people talking about the family, whereas me on the other hand, I don't give a shit. If you're not paying my bills, you're not putting no money in my pocket, you're not helping me in my life in any shape or form whatsoever, then whatever you think is completely irrelevant to me, completely. So much so that, you know, my thing is that anybody who has got something negative to say or wants to point fingers or laugh or take any kind of pleasure in it, then it talks much more about you than it does about me or the person. Because, you know, for you to relish in someone's downfall or whatever their problems are, then it just says a lot about you, basically. So, and that's how I always think about it. And anybody, you know, for that matter, whoever has any problems with mental health, or you've got family members who have got problems with mental health, it's nothing to be ashamed of whatsoever. You know, it's like one of those things that unfortunately it affects a lot of people. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that was kind of like my experience. But then it goes on, because once you have someone in your life that's got mental health, then it comes back in so many different ways. Like I remember one time we got a call to say that she had been sectioned, because, you know, you go from, sometimes if you're not living on your own, if you're living, like, say, with other people and stuff like that, they've already have the information that you've got mental health. So anytime any type of incident happens, and especially where my sister, where she can be aggressive, right, then anytime there's any type of incident, they will just like swoop in and just like take you away and lock you up as quickly as possible, you know, quicker than you can say your name. Seriously, and if they get you in like the wrong institutions, some of them are not great. I mean, I can't speak with too much sort of like knowledge and confidence, but some of them are not great from the standpoint that they like over medicate them. You know, like my sister went to go and visit her once. She was so heavily medicated that she wanted to communicate, and she couldn't even talk. She literally couldn't even talk. She couldn't even say her name. She was so, but I could tell that she wanted to medicate, to conversate. So I went up to the people who were in charge of all of that, and I just said to them, look, you know, I don't know what medication you've got her on there, but whatever, it's way too heavy. Let's reduce that shit. So they did that, and then the next time I came to sort of like see her, then she was at least able to kind of like talk and communicate. But it's very, very hard issue to deal with sometimes.
How did you like, obviously witnessing some of what you just said or what your sister went through? How did that affect you, like now, kind of thing?
Do you know what? It's crazy, because you learn to deal with it, and I'll bring something else into this. Because what happened was, or what we suspect, is that she must have had her drink spiked, or something happened, some kind of foreign drug or whatever, because she was like perfectly fine. Yeah. She was working, highly educated, you know, no problems at all, getting on with life. And she was very young at the time. I swear at the time, she must have been about a little bit older, maybe a little
22.
bit older. Could be. I can't remember fully. 20, so could be very young. I think she was older than 21. I feel like she'd had a 21st birthday. I feel like she had a 21st birthday. So maybe she was slightly older, but not much older. So just imagine like your life being ruined and over from the age of about sort of like 22. You know, and it was it's very difficult. What was your question?
How does it affect you now? Just witnessing what you witness and having to look after her, and just.
Do you know what it does?
Experience it with her, basically.
Do you know what it does? In some ways, it actually really hardens you a lot. Like, because you know, like when you have sort of like a situation like that you have to deal with, right? And where you are unable to fix something yourself. You're unable to give her therapy.
It's out of your control.
Or it's completely out of your control. Then it's like, you know, you really kind of like feel quite helpless. And you just get to a point where you just think, I just have to numb myself to this. You know what I mean? And this is what it is. And that's like, I'm very matter of fact about certain things sometimes.
Yeah, black and white.
You know, and moving on from that, like, last night we had an incident.
Yes.
So last night we had an incident where some of our family members, like, not so cleverly decided to
in the edibles.
Yeah, dabbing in some edibles. If you don't know what edibles are, look it up.
That's cannabis in any food, like sweets or biscuits or anything like that. So
So one of them didn't have a very good experience with it at all.
Yeah.
And it's quite scary and stuff like that. Obviously, is very emotional for me because it brings me right back to that period of time.
Yeah.
And it's something that I personally, I know for a lot of people they're quite blasé about. Oh, it's edibles, or it's just weed, or it's this, that, and that.
But
my
for
thing
you,
is,
it's different.
well, it's not even just for me. I just feel that, like, if you're taking foreign substances into your body that you didn't grow in your garden or whatever with, you don't know what you're taking into your system.
You don't know how your body's going to react
and
to
it
that.
reacts completely differently to
It
different
will
people.
react to them differently.
100%. So I mean, and that's kind of like another thing.
It depends on the person, how their mindset is, kind of thing.
Well, sometimes it's mindset, sometimes it's chemical makeup. It could be a number of different things. We don't really know.
Let's make a point on that as well, because you mentioned two things there that are very in contrast. So you obviously mentioned recreational drugs or cannabis, but you also mentioned medication in hospital. So if I ask you all a question, and obviously I don't know how much you'll be able to answer in terms of how you know it goes, but for example, if you contact a drug dealer and you asked him, can I get this whatever of the drug, whatever, right? He comes to you. I remember you said to me, you don't know what you're being given, right? He comes to you and he gives you. All you make sure is that he's giving you the right amount, right? You don't question nothing. But if a doctor comes to you and gives you medication, you're going to question, what's it for? What's this and that? But you see, like, the little contrast. It's a bit mad, isn't it? Because it's like you trust a drug dealer more than you'll trust a doctor. With a whole pharmaceutical industry that has a book that tells you each medication.
Because you know what as well? Because like you see in like medication and stuff, they give you the leaflet in the box and whatnot, and there's like a whole heap of side effects. Like a whole heap of side effects. They've got like risks, minor risks, severe risks, severe, like there's so many different lists, and because 1 in 1,000 people might have it, 1 in 100 people might have it, might get this. It's just so many things that's up in the air. When I know if I'm just smoking a spliff, I'm getting high.
Because you and I might take the same drug that a doctor's given us, and our reactions could be completely different.
They said 1 in 1,000, 1 in 100. You don't know which one you're going to fit into.
Being given a disclaimer what that medication can do, rather than taking a drug where you think it's just getting you high, but really and truly it's affecting you in the long run, mentally, physically, and there's no disclaimer with that one. You have to find out once you're in it. You see what I'm saying? So
definitely.
I mean, and like for me as well, I mean, I'm not really too well versed about drugs, like, because from my experiences, like with family members, right, drugs have just always been, I've never even smoked a cigarette in my life. I'm just not interested. I have no interest whatsoever. For me, anytime I think about drugs or I just think about pain. That's all I think about. So I just don't fuck with drugs, full stop. And I feel like losing my point slightly. I feel like with weed and whatever else it is, I forgot my point actually.
We was talking about Imani taking the edibles and whatnot, and
I was gonna say something else, but I can't remember. But anyway,
I was gonna say just what kind of, I don't know if that's where you was going, but I was gonna say the thing with cannabis, weed, whatever nowadays, I think they have made so many adaptations, like I hear there's different called cheese, one called chicken, and all these and I'm like,
there's different types now, like the sativas that make you
but
energetic.
For me, it's no longer natural. It's not natural. It's not something that someone has grown.
There's hybrids now, so many things.
When they put these together, if you probably check it, you'll find that probably some of those chemicals that are in these medications that people are taking are in them. You know what I mean? And that's why I also feel that mental health has having such an effect, especially on not just on young people, but on all people.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask, like, do you feel that that drugs, that there's a definite connection between drugs and mental health?
In what sense? You like?
In the sense that, all right, so it's just like, for example, we know that, like, weed or skunk and all these different things. They have so many different like chemicals in them. Like we know about like ital. That's another thing I'll say. Yeah, we know about ital weed. Like people say, yeah, this is ital. This is like completely natural. Yeah. But then even thinking about that, like my dad died of lung cancer. Yeah. So he used to smoke weed. He used to bun weed. Even on his deathbed, he was asking me to go and get weed for him. And like, yeah, that weed was mad. That's he was just on his weed. But like, I'm guessing that caused him his lung cancer because between cigarettes and weed, smoking it, inhaling it, he got lung cancer. So you know what I mean, like what is it that is that great about this weed and this drug taking, man? It's
But
just like,
you trying to say does drugs
affect-
have an effect on mental health?
Yeah, that's what I'm
I mean,
kind of
I
like,
have known people that I've seen
completely
around the
gone,
area
yeah.
that
Same.
apparently have just smoking weed
Yeah,
and
they've
have just
gone.
gone. And I don't know if it is different types of weeds. I know skunk or whatever is quite chemically based, chemically based.
Yeah.
So that can just smash up a person. But I have seen people that look fine, and then you just see them gone, and they'll tell you they just smoke too much weed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also as well is that I know for a fact as well that there are people who, if they can't get their hands on any weed, they get so ratty and angry, like properly, like they're like so addicted to weed, they have to bun weed every day. And if you say
that's
to
just
them,
the thing with
you're
drugs, isn't it? You have
addicted,
withdrawals.
they'll be like,
they're
no, I'm
offended.
not addicted.
Get
But you are, you're a drug addict, so you're addicted to weed.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I believe that's why it's not as natural anymore, because now there's a market. You know what I mean? It's a business, you know? And even though I'm sure once upon a time when it was less chemical based, there was still a market for it. But I think now like I know, you know, in working in a school, kids were buying like £5 bags or £2 bags or £3 bags. There's like, I'm like, wow, they have tailored it for the youth. So now I'm making it reachable for you. You got £1, I got £1. Let's buy a bag together. And I'm not. And that is like information that, you know, has been discussed, and you know, you hear about it from other young people, and it's thing that let's get in together and we'll buy that and we'll split it. So we'll have a couple of spliffs each, you know. And it's not the ital. It's the shit stuff. Do you know what I mean? It is the shit stuff, and it's because that's why it's so cheap, you know. And I just feel like it's now become such a business for some of them. They know that these young people want it.
Can I just put it out there? I don't want none of the road man them to come for me, yeah, because I'm telling people like to allow the weed, don't come for me,
trying to break them, shut down their business, man. What's wrong with you? It's their livelihood.
Can I just go back to talking about my sister and how it affected me?
Yeah.
I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
And I'm 10 years younger than you.
So we're both,
No.
how old are you now? You like what, 29?
No. Okay. So,
19?
Someone's a bit in denial.
You look good for your age, girl.
I know. So I think for me, I don't even know half of what you said about cis, only because it wasn't really heavily discussed with mum, you know. Just didn't want to discuss it for whatever the reason was. You know, so I still have a few memories. I don't even remember her, like, I think only sort of when she had you. Do you know what I mean? And I knew she wasn't right, because I knew I used to have to ask to interact with you and to play with you and stuff like that. I know she was very quiet. She used to just giggle to herself a lot sometimes. Those are the memories I have with her. The last time I saw her, I was pregnant with Shakira. And she just said, Lucina, are you pregnant? And I went, yeah. She went, oh. And that was it. Yeah. You know, and that was the last time, and that just stays with me. Yeah. Because I miss her. Yeah. You know, and it's like, there was a time where I sort of really wanted to see her. I used to think I saw her. Yeah. Didn't see her, but you know, you see something so much. How I last remembered her is how I would see this person and I'd walk up really fast and then it's not her. Yeah. But there was a time that I really, really, you know, pined for her. Just, you know, I have a great big brother, of course. But and you've got big sisters, but you just don't have that big sister relationship. So I think that, you know, I sort of just missed that. Yeah. You know, just having you've got big sisters, but you just don't have a big sister relationship, you know. And I sort of missed that. So I think, like, you know, even at your wedding when you made a speech and you said such nice things about me, and I thought, God, I've got like other sisters that should be here for this amazing moment. Do you know what I mean? Because
quite emotional, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I got upset because it was like, you know, at that moment, she just came to me, and I thought, this is something great. We're probably, you know, brothers getting married, you know what I mean? And like, it would have been nice for us all to have seen that. But, you know, that was the last time I really thought, I think about it all the time actually, but I really thought, oh God, you know, I really miss her again. So I think it does sort of affect other family members, and unbeknown to her and anyone else, you know what I mean? But I have a big sister out there that I don't really have.
It definitely fills in the gaps. Because obviously, when did you guys meet me?
I think when
you were 21,
no?
I must
He
have
was
been
like 21.
23.
Yeah, he was.
Was I 23?
Early
24?
20s.
And how old are you now?
Oh, well,
Well old.
36.
Catch out.
But, you know, I think the first time I'd ever met her, I'd met you guys before.
You met your mum?
Yeah, only because someone said that I looked like him.
No, we was only when she was younger.
Yeah, obviously, but I
my
got
sister
taken
had her
away.
and stuff.
And then I got taken away.
We had relationships with her then.
She would more. You guys remember me more when I was a kid. Then I went away, and then I came back. I must have been like 22, 23.
Did you have memories of us though?
Do you know what's crazy? I remember the house. I actually remember the house. So much so I was angry because why was that kitchen that my gran had was still there? That come back and it was still like that. I went out of it. I had to call the council. Council. I said, no, you lot are taking the piss. I left and come back. Kitchen's still the same.
How many years later?
Leave it out.
And they might have to change it like every 8 years or 15 years or something.
So I remember that. I have a memory of you, and I remember a TV of like the yellow bear and children in need. Don't ask. But I was sitting on your bed. I remember that. And that's as far as it goes. I'm sorry. I was working on the hairdressers at the time, and someone had booked in under the name of my surname. And I said, that is ridiculous. That can't be the same woman. Turns out, for the first time, for me, I'd seen her in a good 22 years. She was sitting in my chair.
Your mum?
Yeah, she was sitting in my chair to have her hair done. And I was just like, oh my God.
Did she know who you were?
I had to tell her.
Oh, didn't she know?
She didn't know it was me at the time.
Oh my God.
And you look so much
because she was,
you
know. So I told her, and she immediately got up out the chair and went outside and started chain smoking.
Wow.
And the first thing she said was, I'm so sorry, it's my fault that I let you go. You know, I feel like I've ruined your life. And I said, you haven't actually. That was probably the best thing you could have done for me. Because there's a lot of children that go into foster care and they end up completely wrecked. So if you didn't let me go, I wouldn't have been the person that I am today. So you actually done the right thing. And don't ever feel like you let me down. Because a lot of parents are quite selfish and want to hold on to the child. And they actually end up damaging the child. But you didn't. And as a result, you know, I am the person that I am today. So, you know, she just was riddled with a lot of guilt. And when she had schizophrenia, wasn't it? So that on top of it, she's probably got voices in her head, the same saying you've messed up, get rid of your child, all of that stuff going through her head. I tried to reintroduce her back into the family. She was having none of it. And it's quite sad. I tried to stay in contact. I'd call her. She'd listen to my voice and she'd just put down the phone.
You said that.
I used to have a number for
so
her.
I can relate to that.
I used to have a number for her when she used to live in, was it Broccoli? Not Broccoli, no, Broccoli, but the bottom, like Stansted Road style near Broccoli. Yeah, she used to have a flat around there. So I had the phone number, I used to phone her, and if she felt like picking up and speaking to you, she would. Other times she would just listen. And you just have to have like a conversation to her with
but
yourself.
You're talking to yourself, literally. But you know.
And do you know who I really feel sorry for in the whole situation as well is my mum, because to sort of like have to go through that with your child and watch all of this sort of like happen to your child, and there's not much you can do about it. Plus, you're carrying that old traditional African shame with you, and that as well, which there's nothing to be ashamed of, you know. And
she was conscious that people talked.
Oh yeah, of course.
Hence why we asked that, because she was very conscious that people talked and what they would say about her, and even though it was already out there, do you know what I mean? It was out there.
But I always just said to her, I just tell her, look, Mum, you know, you can't spend your life worrying about what other people say or think. You know, they don't really have your best interest at heart anyway. So who cares what they say? People are gonna talk. You know, so don't worry about it. Just crack on, just do the best you can do.
I don't think she'll ever let it go.
No,
because I think I've asked her in the past.
I've asked her two questions as well.
She closes up with me. She doesn't really give me all the information.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I mean, I think there was an occasion actually I spoke to her. She bursted out crying, so I just don't think I'll ever ask her again.
Yeah.
I think
literally
parents,
it's a very sensitive subject.
Yeah.
Of course,
and I think parents.
It's hard.
I just think parents also, when things are happening to their child, that they, like you were saying, when you have no control over it and you can't fix it, it's guilt. Because then I think a lot of parents take that on as, did I do something? They're questioning themselves.
Yeah.
What could have I done differently?
Yeah.
And it's got nothing to do with that. Do you know what I mean? It's her experience was her experience, unfortunately. You know, but. And I think that's probably could be what she's holding, and you know.
And do you know the key thing about it is that I think that you know, the world that we live in is constantly changing before our very, very eyes. And sometimes, you know, it changes in real, like at the moment, the changes we're going through right now, you know, in the world. And like, I think that how mental health and the stigma that goes along with mental health has changed so much, you know, in the last decade. In the time of like my mum sort of like growing up, there wasn't none of that. People were just like, mental health was something to be kind of like swept way under the carpet, and no one was trying to deal with that or hear about it or own up to it or say, okay, yeah, this is my child who has it.
Yeah.
So,
And it's a
you know,
gossip
And you were saying there wasn't always
Yeah.
diagnosis for things, like you were saying, like learning difficulties, like this, like dyslexia. That wasn't.
You were just
That
dumb.
wasn't pinpointed.
Yeah.
You're just
You
silly.
were just mad if you behaved a certain way.
Yeah.
So put them away.
Yeah, legit.
It wasn't like, okay, well, let's see if we can work
Yeah,
around this.
exactly.
You know, it's-
No one wanted to investigate, dive deep. Well, didn't have the tools to, I guess, maybe back then.
maybe.
And a lot of stereotype behind it as well, because I
Yeah.
just felt like in regards to well, my situation, when I've asked on several occasions, could I go back to my original family, I must have been like 12, 13. They said no, you can't, because your whole entire family is mad. It's not even true. I mean, look, we're all sitting here now and we're all fine.
Yeah.
But because of maybe one or two people, it's completely painted the whole family as mental health.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't let me go back in.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a positive thing or not, but
Well, you're here now.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
exactly. So
We
it didn't
hope
work,
she
did
comes
it?
back.
Yeah.
But you know, I just feel like people have got so much stereotypes of what they think mental health is,
Yeah.
and they haven't actually got a clue. A lot of them, you know. And I just think that there's a lot of support out there, but not a lot of it is necessarily given back then to ethnic minorities.
Definitely.
And I noticed there was definitely a huge difference. I noticed that I didn't get a lot of support back then. Now it's different. There's masses. But we're talking what, 80s, 90s? There was nothing about. Let's be honest.
Yeah. It's unheard of,
But
really.
Yeah, it was.
The thing that always like sticks with me, and I think it was probably about, I don't know, about 4 or 5 years ago, I reckon, that it really dawned on me sort of like how young my sister actually was when she went through this, and like this massive change in her life happened, and like,
Kind of got
you know,
robbed of her life.
yeah,
somehow.
but I thought, wow, you know, you just have a really like the, you know, the best years of your life when
Yeah.
you really got sort of like freedom, you're exploring, you're traveling and all the rest of it. Like, I mean, as far as I know, I mean, she thinks she traveled like once or twice, but she ain't really done anything with her life that she can.
Didn't live,
Yeah.
You know.
explore.
Yeah, but
That's mad, you know,
Yeah.
because when you think about it as well, remember when you said my 18th birthday?
Yeah.
I haven't celebrated a birthday since my 18th.
serious.
Yeah.
Serious.
Serious.
Reason
why?
why?
That
That was
memory.
that memory. That was basically the last of how much I thought I'd be able to enjoy myself. Do you see what I'm saying? So going on 22, it's 4
Yeah.
years, isn't it? Yeah. So
Do you feel that you'll make a change in that?
Yeah, we gotta do it. His
Yeah.
birthday is in December next month.
Oh, December. What part of December?
lockdown is going on, so it's a bit
In it, sorry. We'll be home at 10 o'clock. 6
Nah,
of us.
but, I mean,
What are you, December the what?
16th.
16.
Yo,
okay.
fam, we all living here.
But yeah, definitely. Obviously, you do look back at yourself when you think, you know what? Like you said, you wasted so much of your time, like not even time, but your youth and times you should have been enjoying yourself. That again, like, I'm 22 in university now, and I go into class. Obviously, everyone would say like, there's a mixture of ages in university, definitely. But you obviously know the prominent age is 18. That's when you start university. So I'm going into 22 at university. And me and myself, I'm thinking pride issues. I'm thinking, oh, but they're gonna ask me, how come you're 22? It doesn't happen like that. There's a lot of like just that imagination of do you know what I'm saying? But again, like I said, like I said,
say uncles, but mature. Yeah.
but like I said, I mean, last birthday I celebrated, I was 18, and because of the memories and stuff. But definitely now that I find myself where I am now, I'm telling myself, listen, 23. It's gonna be a shutdown.
Needs to be.
100%. Yeah.
Enjoy yourself, right?
I'm definitely gonna get myself some Alizés as well.
The blue one or the other one? The blue one.
Both of them.
Both.
I'm telling you, we're going all out on that day.
Alright, then cool.
I think it's definitely well deserved in that sense of, if you look at yourself from where you was before, like if I could like call myself from back then and be like, look at me now, he'd probably be like, there's no way. There's no way. You know what I'm saying? There's no
As you
way.
can see by my tears, like I was like, man, like you've done some growth, boy. You've done some real serious growth, and I'm just proud of it, really. I'm just proud of it, seeing how you was before, and just in like the dark space that you was in, and you feeling like there was no way out whatsoever.
100%.
So if I was to say to you, what is the one thing you would kind of like say to friends or family or even people kind of like in the profession of dealing with people with mental health? What would you say would be the one thing that you would say, okay, well, I think it will help if you do this?
Oh, one thing.
Could be more than one.
Cool. Can I put it to two then? I say communication and consistency. Because you know some people, they'll communicate, but that's where consistency lacks. Because the communication won't be consistent. Or you might be consistent, but your communication will lack. The two are twins. They go hand in hand. You see what I'm saying? So even in my times, I knew there are people sometimes were communicating, sometimes weren't. That to me only made me lose faith in them, because it was sometimes or at times or when it best suited them. And that's fair enough. But again, don't give that expectation if you're not going to live up to it. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, for me, it's like, if you tell me you're going to give me a lollipop on Friday comes, I want a lollipop. You know what I'm saying? If you don't tell me, I can't expect it.
Right.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
You don't want to throw out that expectation and not live up to it, because Friday comes, I'm belling you down. Where's my lollipop? You told me I was in fact, no, I want 2 lollipops now. You know what I'm saying? But 100% definitely that
Communication
and consistency. Once you commit to something, follow through. Follow through.
It's a lesson for everything, really.
100%.
Yeah, because when you think about it, I guess if someone's mind is doing all sorts of different things, there can be certain things that they sort of like latch onto. So if you're waiting for that sort of like output, that release, to be able to talk to someone, to kind of like someone that you trust as well, to kind of like get out what it is that you're feeling.
Yeah, you got to develop that trust in them sort of thing, and that's how it comes. But again, with that as well, if you want to sort of look at it from a different spectrum, you also want to tell yourself, you don't always want to be the person being motivated or inspired. I mean, I went through my 2 years of having to be motivated and inspired. Now, I don't really want to be motivated and inspired no more. I want to be the motivation and I want to be the inspiration. You see what I'm saying? So it's just as,
And
you know,
are, so.
thank you.
100%.
No, it's just as like a bank and money. You don't always want to be the borrower. Sometimes you want to be the lender as well.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So you don't always want to be the one having to be motivated or inspired. And do you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you want to motivate and inspire. So yeah, again, it's just, definitely just, I mean, like, to answer your question in summary, definitely that communication, that consistency that follows with it. And in terms of how the advice I give to the actual person going through it, just remain patient and be humble. As in, the best way I can put it is, you might get in this household and get your mail at 10 a.m. The next road might get at 12. All you can take from that is, my time is still coming. You see what I'm saying? So it's nothing about how comes he got it at 10. You're still getting it at 12. As long as you get it. You could get it at midnight. You still got it. So again, it's just be patient and be humble in that way. It's just, things will come with that, law of attraction, that positivity and that mindset. Like, life is only as good as your mindset.
I could tell, and I'm sure that like my missus could tell as well, that you was kind of like had definitely taken from those kind of teachings.
100%.
I think it's so important as well.
100%. You've got to find your zen in what you do. You know what I'm saying? You can't just always, advice isn't meant to be taken literally, like every word by word, literally to yourself. You know what I'm saying? You take advice and you take what you want to take out of it, what relates to you.
Relates to you. Adapt it to your situation.
Exactly. Like, you ask me if you're going to like jump from a stepping stone to another stone, and you ask me, should I jump it? I'm gonna tell you, yeah, jump it, man. That's my advice. My best advice is jump it. But how you're gonna jump is what you take from the advice I've given you. Do you see what I'm saying? You don't just take it literally and like, yeah, he said, yeah, let me jump it, and then you end up yourself drowning. You see what I'm saying? It's like, that's not what advice was for. As in, we all go through our own subjective experience and whatever, and we can only give you what we've learned from our experience. Now, you obviously again need to take your own experience and learn what you gain and gain what you can from it. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's 4 things for everyone else: communication, consistency for yourself, patience, and humbleness. And the 5th one for me personally was definitely faith and religion, 100%.
Can we just get like the mental health? What do you call them? The people that you work with, the people that you done work for. Can you just say them again for the people that might be watching this that might need to reach out for some help or don't know where's the best place to go? Or
yeah, definitely. I mean, so the charity Mind, the well-known mental health charity, along with the help that they give for the people suffering from mental health, whether it be the youth or the adults, they're definitely there in terms of campaigning for it, but they're also there in terms of they've got things you can, like a line you can call, they've got their website you can go on, research things, research medication as well. Even so, like, we were talking about drugs before. If you really want to find out more about it, research it. You know what I'm saying?
What's the names?
Mind. So that's Mind Mental Health Charity. Yeah.
Cool.
So and yeah, it's always good to research something. You see what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't just hear something and take it on. Research it yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, you'll really find out more about it. But
are you big on the social media or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely.
What's your socials? The key plug in so we can get some people following you. You might
that'd be nice. Definitely, that'd be nice. Now, so my Instagram, I use it as my visual diary / portfolio is the boy Anton. It'd be DABOYANTON. My Twitter, Antonio, so ANTOTHENIO. What follows after that? I think it's my Instagram, my Snapchat. I think it's isn't it? You really want to go deep into it, Facebook and nah. But yeah, those are my main ones that I'm definitely obviously.
And you can reach them on
reach out, and I'm promoting my stuff always, as in, like I just said, my Instagram isn't my Instagram for photos, it's my portfolio and my visual diary. You know what I'm saying? So there you'll find out what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, what my next move is. You'll find out about my documentary that I'm producing for myself, and big up Nick Han on the visuals for that. It's just, that's what it is, isn't it? So again, the Twitter, the Instagram, and to go back to finishing your question, obviously as well, there's Time to Change, which I'm a media volunteer for, as I said. So Time to Change, it's a branch of Mind Mental Health Charity. They look at reducing stigma in mental health. So like I said, I've done a few media campaigns with them. I've also got young partnership for Young London. They're more like empowering the youth as a whole. So we look at stuff like the mayor's elections. We sort of pioneered that event, the mayor's elections. That's coming up soon. Again, done some blogs for them as well. Some work.
Busy.
Definitely. Yeah, I've had a few meetings with NHS England, Public Health England, mental health roundtables. And the list could go on. Honestly, you waste about 10 minutes.
People can reach out to these places.
But definitely,
and find more information about
100%. I've been
mental health and whatnot.
Do please reach out, because as much so, like I said, it's nice to hear that that experience where, you know what, if he can do it, why can't I do it? You know what I'm saying? As in, you have people tell you that, and so on. I'll tell you it myself, but it's only so much you have to believe in it yourself. So again, do of course reach out, and again, like, whatever the situation is, whatever it could be, always think it could be worse. You know what I mean? Always think it could be worse. And back to my point before as well, always think, but what am I doing about it? Because it's all nice and good sitting here talking about, but this is going on, but that needs to follow through. What, you know what? I'm not happy with this life I'm living. I'm going to do this about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do this about it, etc., etc. And then just as well, like, find healthy idols in your life. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily need to be booked in with someone for them to be your mentor. Following them even in a passive way, that they're already mentoring you. Do you see what I'm saying? So I've had people that have come up to me just randomly, and I promise you I don't know them. Maybe they've had a conversation, they come to me and they've gone, you're going to be rich one day. But I don't sit there and I think, yeah, I'm going to be rich, like, might just be rich in knowledge. You see what I'm saying? Might just be rich in, I don't know what they mean. But they meant I'm going to, like,
you're going to be so
I'm going to exceed in something that's going to make me richer. You know what I'm saying? So even with that, like, then they'll say, you know what, if you want, follow what I'm doing, LinkedIn, stuff like that. No, see what I'm doing, take something from it, this and that. People come to me like, your personality is mad. It's amazing, this and that. Do you know what I mean? But I still need that someone to tell me, but this is where you can improve. Because there's always room for improvement. Wherever you are, there's always room for improvement. And then,
can I ask, sorry, when is your documentary out?
So it's been a bit up and down right now because of the whole situation that's going on.
Roughly,
yeah, my goal is to really have it out for summer 2021. So summer 2021.
We'll be looking
What's
out.
it going to be called?
Still haven't given it a title.
Okay.
I'll give you a name.
Just look out.
Still haven't given it a title. So work in progress definitely is something that I sort of wanted to do out of my own will, because although I could have contacted these charities and got their support, it then had to align with sort of their policies and values, whereas I wanted it to be from my personal.
And this is still your therapy as well.
Yeah, do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So obviously I went out and contacted Nick and myself and, you know, said, look, let's do this. And he was like, you know what, this is amazing. Let's do it. Like, why not? 100%. You know, maybe I might get a Nobel Award from it. Or, you know, BBC might be like, you know, but
you never know.
yeah, exactly. I mean, take any opportunity and whatever comes out of it, comes out of it. That's all it is. And again, just you gotta be grateful for what is going on, what you have, and that's it, man.
Look, when we're putting our podcast together, we always like to have a guest in on our shows and stuff. So I was just thinking, who are we gonna get in for mental health? And I was racking my brain and spoke to everybody. We spoke to Cheyenne, and Cheyenne goes, "I've got someone." And you know, when she sort of like came up with you and told me a little bit about you, I thought, okay, sounds cool, sounds good. You know, we look forward to having him in. But you know, you really have surpassed, you know, my sort of any expectations in terms of how open you've been, how knowledgeable you've been, how great you've been about just kind of like relaying all the information and what's happened to you and stuff. And I feel that anyone who's listened to this will have benefited from 100%. How you describe things and stuff. So make sure you follow Anton on all his socials. I think that's us. I think it's a wrap. And make sure you subscribe to Jerk on Jollof with the Joofs. 100%. And look out for us on the next episode. All right, later, guys.